Let's go Dolphins! The draft is closing in fast, and things are getting fiery behind the scenes in Miami. The Dolphins are at a crossroads, and the pressure is real. We all know this team is hungry for a Super Bowl run, and for that to happen, Mike McDaniel needs a complete, reliable, and dynamic roster. But let's not sugarcoat it. Chris Grier should have been out the door already. His track record isn't winning over fans, and yet here we are, with him still making pivotal draft decisions. I've got a lot to share with you today, so before we dive deep, make sure you smash that like button, but only if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan. Better yet, if you've been riding with the Dolphins for over 20 years, drop a comment saying, "Go Dolphins!" My heart bleeds aqua and orange. Now let's get right into it. The Miami Dolphins are heading into the 2024 NFL Draft with plenty of holes to fill, and no, we're not talking about small gaps. We're talking about glaring issues that could sink the season if not addressed correctly. One of the most pressing? That void in the middle of the defensive line. The hope was that Calais Campbell might return to anchor that spot, but he's officially staying in Arizona. That leaves a big man-sized hole up front, and the Dolphins need to plug it fast. There's a lot of buzz that Miami could go quarterback in the first round, but let's be real, this team can't afford to whiff on its top pick. Every position matters, and if they pass on bolstering the D-line early, the second round becomes crucial. That's where Deion Walker out of Kentucky enters the chat. The 6 feet 7 inches, 331-pound monster is catching eyes, and not just because he looks like a human skyscraper. He's shockingly quick for his size, with strong hands, good pad level, and the ability to disrupt passes in the middle. But, and it's a big one, his stamina is a red flag. Reports say he maxes out around 20 to 25 plays a game. That's barely a third of a defensive series. If he can't stay on the field, he can't be the answer. Conditioning is going to be everything if Miami takes this gamble. Imagine spending a second-round pick on a guy who has to come off the field after 1 or 2 plays. That's a hard sell, and with Chris Grier still making the calls, fans have every right to be nervous. Grier's track record hasn't exactly inspired confidence, and a risky pick like Walker could end up being a disaster, or a steal if he's whipped into shape. Now let's switch gears. The name that keeps coming up for Miami's first-round pick? Johnny Barron. A versatile, ball-hawking corner who played all over the field, left, right, slot, you name it. He's not just versatile, he's a turnover machine. 5 interceptions last season, over 300 snaps, and he's arguably the most complete corner outside of Travis, the projected top pick. Importantly, Johnny doesn't have the nagging injury history that's plagued Will Johnson, another top prospect whose hamstring and groin concerns are scaring teams off. Miami's roster is already fragile. From Tua to both wideouts to the entire defense, injuries were the storyline last season. The team can't afford another "he's great when he's healthy" situation. They need someone who's ready to go now. Someone reliable. Someone who can contribute from day one. And that's why Johnny Barron makes sense. It's the safest pick, the smartest pick. No question marks, no what-ifs. Just raw talent and consistent play. And here's the kicker. The Dolphins have to hit on this pick. No excuses. Everyone's on the hot seat. The GM, the coach, even Tua. If this pick flops, it could be the first domino in a complete regime change. Now let's talk late round value, because that's one area where Miami's actually been decent. Remember Devin Achane? Third rounder. People doubted him because of his size, but now he's RB1 and a near pro bowler. Or how about Andrew Van Ginkel? 5th round steal, played like a monster, and although he's no longer with us, thanks to a contract issue, he was a critical piece. And don't sleep on Jason Sanders, a 7th round pick who went from don't trust him over 45 yards to arguably our most consistent player down the stretch last year. These late picks matter. They're the backbone of depth, so don't be surprised if Miami plays it smart and stacks up on day 3 gems. But again, if you trade those away just to move up a few spots and blow the pick, what's the point? So here we are, folks. The tension is real. Big decisions are coming, and one wrong move could derail everything. Will Chris Grier finally get one right, or will it be another chapter in the long book of almosts for the Miami Dolphins? Let me know in the comments. Let's pick up right where we left off. If the Dolphins decide to go with Johnny Barron at 13, it signals a strong vote for dependability and immediate contribution. He's not flashy in the way a top 3 quarterback might be, but he fills a desperate need with precision. With Xavier Howard now gone and Jalen Ramsey not getting any younger, that secondary needs a new leader. Barron could be that guy, especially with his versatility. He's not just a plug-and-play boundary corner. He can move inside, cover the slot, disrupt passes, and more importantly, he stays on the field. Durability has to be one of the most underrated yet critical traits in today's NFL, especially in a team like Miami, where the injury bug bites hard and often. But let's be real, if Greer goes flashy and gambles on Will Johnson or trades down to stack picks, he's playing with fire. Johnson might be a generational talent, but what good is that if he's never healthy enough to see the field consistently? That's the gamble, and that's why fans are frustrated. It feels like every year, we're drafting on potential, hoping this is the year it all clicks. Meanwhile, guys like Barron are right there, less risky, more polished, and exactly what we need now. And what about the trenches? If Greer does pass on the D-line in round 1 and looks to the second, Deion Walker is the name to watch. But let's not kid ourselves. He's a project. Massive upside, sure, but the guy runs out of gas after 2 downs. Conditioning is a problem. Technique slips when he's tired. If this team's identity is going to be built around toughness and endurance, you can't draft someone who needs a breather every series. That's not a luxury we can afford. Not in a division with the Bills, not with the Jets retooling, not with the Patriots hungry to rebuild. We need impact players who can give us 60-plus snaps, not just 20. What stings the most is that we've seen what happens when we hit on mid-round picks. Devin Achane is proof. Van Ginkel was proof. Jason Sanders, despite the ups and downs, came through when it mattered most last season. So when fans see Greer swinging wildly in round 1 instead of sticking to what's proven, the skepticism is real. It's deserved, and no amount of pre-draft hype changes that. We're not buying into potential anymore. We want results. And don't forget the value Miami has stacked in the late rounds. 2 fourths, a fifth, 2 sixths, a seventh, plus compensatory picks. This draft haul could define the next 5 years of Dolphins football. If they nail even 2 of those late picks like they did with Achane and Van Ginkel, this team's depth gets a serious boost. But if they throw those picks away just to chase someone flashy early, it's another classic misstep. And here's where the rubber truly meets the road, Dolphins fans. Because this draft isn't just about talent, it's about survival. It's about whether or not this front office can finally get out of its own way and stop sabotaging what could genuinely be one of the most explosive teams in the NFL. Let's not sugarcoat it. Miami is sitting on a roster that could challenge for a Super Bowl, but only if the right pieces are added in the right spots. And that starts with the draft. Let's talk deeper about the quarterback conundrum. Johnny Barron isn't just a safe pick. He's the smart pick. You don't need to overthink it. This guy has proven himself in every quadrant of the field. Left side, right side, in the slot, he's covered them all. That's not just talent. That's elite football IQ, the kind of awareness you can't teach. 5 interceptions in 1 season isn't just stat padding. It's production, instinct, and awareness. This defense was desperate for turnovers last season. Barron gives them that edge. And his clean bill of health, that alone should push him to the top of the Dolphins board. And let's not forget one critical piece here. This draft isn't just about 2024. It's about setting up 2025 and beyond. Tua's contract situation looms. The offensive line still needs reinforcements. Depth at linebacker is razor thin. These aren't luxuries. These are must-fix problems. If you miss in the draft now, it means you'll be paying through the nose in free agency later. That's not sustainable, and with the cap already squeezed, it's not an option. So, Dolphins Nation, I'll leave you with this. Do you trust Greer to make the right call this time? Should we go all in on a sure thing like Johnny Barron? Or should we gamble once again on potential, hoping to finally hit the jackpot? Let me know what you think in the comments. Go Dolphins!